Look, I'm against the violence against Asians in the United States that happens now. It's an act of cowardice. However, just because I'm against that violence that goes on, that does not mean that I agree with all the measures taken to stop that violence. Now, why am I saying this? Okay, let's look at the bigger picture. This anti-Asian hate crime bill came as a result of the increasing violence against Asians. And when did this violence increase? After the George Floyd situation, which caused a big backlash onto white supremacy. Now, instead of addressing the cultural sickness of the United States, now quickly they put an anti-Asian hate crime bill to protect Asian lives. But hold up! Where are the anti-black hate crime bills in the United States? After decades, no, centuries of genocidal violence and shameless exploitation, there is still no anti-black hate crime bill. Don't talk to me about the arrangements of the 1960s during the civil rights movement. It's not about civil rights. This is about preserving and protecting lives. And hold up, when Black Lives Matter as an organization came out, and remember, I did not support the organization because I knew it had a weird origin. I already spoke about that. But apart from that, when the phrase Black Lives Matter became popular, people took offense saying, oh, why say Black Lives Matter? You should say all lives matter. People felt hurt. But now there's a phrase, stop Asian hate. Okay, why don't people say stop all hate? Why aren't people losing their minds and becoming emotional right now? So that shows you that worldwide people have been conditioned to feel comfortable when blacks are the one being victimized. That's why when there was a phrase Black Lives Matter, many people took offense. But when it's a phrase to stand up for Asians, people don't go against it. Why don't you see many hashtags talk about why do they stop Asian hate? Why not stop all hate? Why aren't they challenging the stop Asian hate hashtag? But they went first against Black Lives Matter. It is because the term Black Lives Matter refers to black lives. And it's black lives that has been targeted for centuries in this world. And that's something a lot of people don't want to admit. They don't want to admit that the whole world has ganged up with white supremacy against black lives, including their own relatives and their own ancestors. People don't want to admit this. When you say stop Asian hate, well, Asians are not the type of people in general that will complain when they are mistreated. So, people don't expect much retaliation from them, while blacks are known to cause consequences when they are mistreated. Now, whether you agree with all those consequences or not doesn't matter. So this whole anti-Asian hate crime bill is a type of hypocrisy. Why, within just months of experiencing so much hate crimes on Asians, the legislators in the United States could come together and they can agree very quickly on a legislation to protect Asian lives? Where is all that effort for black lives? That should show you something, namely that they don't intend to protect nor to value black lives. They don't intend to change for the better. They just want to play the old white supremacist game. And Asians are in general more willing to tolerate this game, while black folks don't. So they want to insist on having black folks as the scapegoats, so that everyone else can experience paranormal ease at the expense of blacks. They don't intend to change for the better. They just say they do because they can't get away with openly expressing their diabolical resentment against blacks. If you cannot see by now that this is just a hoax that they're passing, namely saying that racism is over, racism does not exist anymore, or saying that, well, there's going to be reforms that will going to include black people. No. Hold on. Kamala Harris, before she became vice president, some people asked her, well, actually, the reporter asked her on camera, are you going to pass legislation that will benefit black people exclusively? She said that she will not pass any law that will only benefit black people. But hold up, that same Kamala Harris is willing to endorse a legislation that's exclusively to benefit Asians. Hold up. So you can pass a legislation as a country that exclusively benefits Asians or benefits people from LGBT or whatever. When it comes to black folks, you can't do it. Listen, stop casting pearls before swine. I'm talking to everyone, stop casting your pearls before swine. The United States is a white supremacist stronghold. And everyone that makes up that administration, they know about it, and they know that's the only way that administration can function. And they have no intention of destroying their own administration. For the United States to stop being racist, the United States has to cease to exist. As simple as that. Everything must be resetted, and people don't intend to do it. Several months of intense violence against Asian people, legislation in place. But black folks have to protest, they have to riot, they have to make many campaigns only to be recognized that something is wrong. But still then, no long-term legislation is put in place on our behalf. So stop talking about the Civil Rights Acts. This is way in the open. If still you have black folks believing in the integrity of the United States, which never existed, then they are either reprobate or they're truly mentally gone. I don't care who gets offended. If you are black or from African origins and you still believe in this non-existent integrity of the United States, you're finished. Because everyone can see by now that there is no improvement intended. So, blacks in the United States should de-invest from that nation and begin to build their own local economies and their own local communities. Yes, you may live under the administration called the United States, but stop identifying with your abuser. Your abuser is not going to change. When will that get through to you? Your abuser is not going to change. Your abuser is a corporate political reprobate. Stop begging to be treated better, because you will never be treated better. Well, that's what I have to say for now. Again, I'm against sacrificial violence against anyone. Against blacks, against whites, against Asians. I'm against all sacrificial violence. However, just because I'm against sacrificial violence doesn't mean I'm going to support any legislation against it, because if that legislation is at the expense of others, in this case blacks, then I don't support it. And here's the thing. They don't want to pass legislation against violating black lives, but they are willing to put blacks in the next category as if it were blacks who were harassing Asians all the time, which is not true. Yes, you have some individuals here and there from the black community that attack Asians, but those weirdos, those black weirdos, attack anyone. Okay? But they wanted to frame it in the media as if black folks in general have something against Asians, which is not true. Because the Asians in America, as well as in most places in the world, they keep to themselves. So how come that it be then that they are overwhelmingly attacked by blacks? Where's the proof? Where are all the incidents documented about blacks attacking Asians? They can't show them. So first you try to frame black folks who've been victimized far more for the so-called violence against Asians when white supremacists came out and openly killed that many Asian women, saying he had a bad day. Now they dropped the media narrative, and now it's all about legislation against Asian hate. But you still can't find any legislative action to preserve black lives. So by now, I decree and declare the doom of that government administration that insists on violating the black folks. You know which administration I'm talking about. That claims to be a Christian nation, but is forcing the government worldwide. May it collapse, turn on each other in madness, and never be found anymore under heaven. In Christ Jesus' mighty name, be at peace.